there everybody, I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to do a little bit of semi-authentic Spanish guitar, so we're going to take some inspiration from real flamenco music, but we're going to, as I always do, and it's basically my style, we're going to simplify it, we're going to make it easier, we're going to make it more basic, we're going to have something to sink our teeth into that sounds kind of real. If you choose to take it further, I highly recommend you do so. And I'll have some links in the description here of some brilliant YouTube channels of real flamenco guitarists. I have never claimed to be a real flamenco guitarist. I've always said that I take basically the best, easiest bits from flamenco guitar and mix it with my rock and metal background to create something simpler, but with some of the really beautiful colors of flamenco. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to base it around a flamenco style called Tarantas, which is heavily based around this chord here. And it's one of the coolest chords ever. I could literally just sit there all day just going. So that's a gorgeous sound. It's basically, if you imagine an F sharp power chord, but then you've got the top three strings ringing open. So from the lowest string, it's 2, 4, 4, 0, 0, 0. I will mention, as always, the tab for today's lesson will be on my Patreon page, and on Patreon we do what's called a deep dive, where I go into much more detail. So if the basic lesson today inspires you and you get it relatively quickly or whatever, in Patreon we take a deep dive and we get much more into it. So that's going to be our main chord, and there's a whole bunch of stuff we can do with that chord. One of the most obvious is this 2, 3, 2, that hammer on. And you can do kind of extreme hammers. With that 2, 3, 2 kind of sound. Now I'm not going to teach you right hand technique right now. My channel is full of different right hand techniques. The channels I post in the description are full of authentic flamenco right hand techniques, and YouTube of course is an endless supply of incredible information. So I'm not going to go into it only because I've gone into it before and there's others that will go into it. You can use a pick. I mean, a flamenco guitarist would essentially never use a pick, but we're not playing flamenco here, we're playing simple music inspired by flamenco. So that chord is a beautiful bedrock for the Tarantas. Now we're going to do a very simple chord progression. The chord progression is essentially B minor, A major, G, and then back to that F sharp. That's a simplified way of doing the chords. We'll do it in a bit more of an interesting Spanish style now. So we'll do the B minor. But let's go from the A string, let's go 2, 4, 0, 3, 0. Even that sound. That from the 4th fret of the D string to the open G string. You get that beautiful dissonance. So 2, 4, 0, 3, 0. A lot of great Spanish guitar and classical guitar as well creates its beauty and its mysterious nature simply by removing, this is a really good example, simply by removing certain chord notes and replacing them with open strings. We create these chords that, if you want to look at them theoretically, would be, this would be like a B minor 7 sus 4 flat 9 or whatever. No, that's not a flat 9, that would be a flat 6, I guess. B minor 7 flat 6 sus 4, something like that, but like we don't think about it like that. We're thinking about it, it's a B minor 7 with some open strings in it. That's a very cool sound. So that's our first chord. Second one, we're just going to move the index finger to the 2nd fret of the B string. So it's a kind of A chord. We're going to go 0, 4, 0, 2, 0. We've kept these two. That F sharp to G sound. I guess it's a kind of A7 because of that G note is the 7 of A. You can put your pinky down at the 5th fret. So there's that. G7, I just go 3, 2, 3. You can just play play those low 3 strings, but you can also play the open strings. Another, similar to the way we did an F sharp chord with 3 open strings, we can do a G7 chord, 3, 2, 3, with the open strings. Once again, creating a harmony, a dissonance, an openness, and a sound that is a kind of quintessentially that Spanish guitar sound. So you can put that pinky down at the 3rd fret. One of the slightly more advanced things you can do is this kind of. So if you fret just the 3rd fret, still on the G. If you fret your middle finger on the 3rd fret of the lowest string, there's a knock at the door. Let's pause the video. I had a little knock on the door, so I've stopped filming. I think it's probably the first cut I've ever put in one of my YouTube videos. Usually I just film the whole way through, make it really, really basic. I don't really do production values here on YouTube. It's just to share information. But the neighbours wanted to borrow the washing machine because they're renovating, so there's a washing machine going now, but it's not too loud. This is pretty much where we were. I wasn't going to say too much more today anyway, because really what I wanted to share with you, based on this Tarantas, was the main F sharp chord, this basic chord progression. And you've got your options. If you followed my channel or from wherever you've developed your guitar knowledge, which I am sure and I hope is many, many different sources. You know, for example, on the B7 you might do an arpeggio. B minor 7. So you've got your choices, different chord voicing. Just because I showed you one G7 chord, doesn't mean you can't do other G7 chords or G chords. That's really all today's about, is this really basic introduction to this beautiful colour of flamenco styles, the Tarantas, in my own very, very basic, very, very elementary style. I hope that was enough to inspire you to check out the great YouTube channels, which I'll put in the comments, who I to this day follow avidly. I watch their videos like maybe you watch my videos. Some of them I pay for lessons because they're freaking brilliant. And also over on my Patreon, I'll take you deeper into my way of doing this, which is that simplified way. But sometimes, you know, that can be cool as well, because we're not all here to learn true flamenco. And I know that my style, simplification, a more rock, basic backbeat groove, has some advantages as well. So jump on Patreon if you want to stick with me. Jump on those other channels if you want to see some true masters in action. And more importantly than any of that is go grab your guitar and play some guitar. Thank you so much.